The Passion, according to Matthew, take 11.
The one of 12, who was called Jesus Iscariot, went to the chief priests and said,
"What will you give me if I betray Jesus to you?"
They paid him 30 pieces of silver, and from that moment he began to look for an opportunity to betray him. On the first day of unleavened bread, the disciples came to Jesus saying,
"Where do you want us to make the preparations for you to eat the Passover?"
He said,
Go into the city to a certain man and say to him, The teacher says, My time is near, and I will keep the Passover at your house with my disciples.
So the disciples did as Jesus had directed them, and they prepared the Passover meal. When it was evening, he took his place with the 12, and while they were eating, he said,
Truly I tell you, one of you will betray me.
And they became greatly distressed, and began to say to him one after another.
"Surely not I, Lord."
He answered,
Then one who has dipped his hand into the bowl with me will betray me. The Son of Man goes as is written of him, but woe to the one by whom the Son of Man is betrayed. It would have been better for that one not to have been born.
Judas, who betrayed him, said,
"Surely not I, Rabbi."
He replied,
You have said so.
While they were eating, Jesus took a loaf of bread, and after blessing it, he broke it, gave it to the disciples, and said,
Take it, eat it, this is my body.
Then he took a cup, and after giving thanks, he gave it to them, saying,
Drink from it, all of you, for this is my blood of the covenant, which is poured out for many for forgiveness of sins. I tell you, I will never again drink of this fruit of the vine until that day when I drink it new with you in my Father's kingdom.
When they have sung the hymn, they went out to the Mount of Olives, and then Jesus said to them,
You will all become my deserters because of me this night, for it is written, I will strike the shepherds, and the sheep in the flock will be scattered. But after I rise up, I will go ahead of you to Galilee.
Peter said to him,
Though all become deserters because of you, I will never desert you.
Jesus said to him,
Truly I tell you, this is the very night. Before the cock crows, you will deny me 3 times.
Peter said to him,
Even though I must die with you, I will not deny you.
and so said all the disciples. Then Jesus went with them to the place called Gethsemane, and he said to the disciples,
Sit here while I go over there and pray.
He took with him Peter and the 2 sons of Zebedee, and he began to grieve and get agitated. And then he said to them,
I'm deeply grieved, even to death. Remain here and stay awake with me.
And going a little farther, he threw himself on the ground and prayed.
My Father, if it is possible, let this cup pass from me, yet not I want what I want, but what you want.
Then he came to the disciples and found them sleeping, and he said to Peter,
So could you not stay awake with me 1 hour? Stay awake and pray, that you may not come into the time of trial. And the spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak.
Again he went for the second time and prayed.
My Father, if this cannot pass unless I drink it, you will be done.
Again he came back and found them sleeping, for their eyes were heavy. So leaving them again, he went and prayed for the 3rd time, saying the same words. Then he came back to the disciples and said to them,
Are you still sleeping and taking your rest? See, the hour is at hand, and the Son of Man is betrayed into the hand of a sinner. Get up, let us be going. See, my betrayer is at hand.
While he was still speaking, Judas, one of the 12, arrived with him, with a large crowd with swords and clubs, for the chief priests and the elders of peoples were now the betrayer had been giving them a sign, saying,
"The one our kiss is the man. Arrest him."
At once he came up to Jesus and said,
"Greetings, Rabbi."
and kissed him. Jesus said to him,
Friend, do what you are here to do.
Then they came out and laid hands on Jesus and arrested him. Suddenly, one of those with Jesus put his hand on the sword and drew it, and struck the slave of the high priest, putting his ear off. And Jesus said to him,
Put your sword back into its place, for all who take the sword will perish by my sword. Do you think that I cannot appeal to my Father, and he will once send me more than 12 legions of angels? But how they would scriptures be fulfilled, which say it must happen in this way?
At that hour Jesus said to the crowd,
Have you come out with swords and clubs to arrest me, as though I were bandits? Day after day I sat in the temple teaching. You did not arrest me, but all this time I have taken place, so that the scripture of the prophet will be fulfilled.
Then all the disciples deserted him and fled. Those who had arrested Jesus took him to Caiaphas, the high priest, and in whose house and the scribes that the elders had gathered. But Peter was following him at a distance, as far as the courtyard of the high priest, and going inside, he sat with the guards in order to see how this would end. Now the chief priests and the whole council were looking for false testimonies against Jesus, so that they might put him to death. But they found none. Though many false witnesses came forward, at last two came forward and said,
This fellow said,
I
I am able to destroy